Hi, I'm Maggie Slighte. You may have heard my voice, which I will be the first one to go out on a limb here and say it sounded very annoying. But you may have heard my voice in the background of a video that's kind of gone a little viral here in Olympia. Give you a little bit of who I am. I am a writer. I use a power chair, and next week I'll go into why I use a power chair. That's not up for discussion this week. But I live here in Olympia, Washington. And when I was out and about exactly a week ago today, I came across a man. Actually, I came across tires that were in my way, and I needed to get by. Well, I ended up taking a video of what happened, and then I posted it on YouTube the next day. Posting one vlog a week, so if you have questions about who I am, what happened with this video, who happened, what's with this guy, and everything, drop them in the comments below. In the description below, you'll find a link to the raw video that I'll be commenting on today. So you can go watch the whole thing, just the links down below. Now, this viral video. The person who commented and claimed it was him that I engaged with in this video is named Rick Kero, K-E-R-O. So he's the one that claimed that that's him. Now, he and I came to know each other 1 week ago on Monday, October 5th, because I was in my power chair. I was just zooming around here, asking, zoom, 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 and except that didn't look like this. This is not what he saw. To give you an idea of what he saw, I will change back into what I was wearing at the time. Now, I also had a purple hoodie on, I believe. So, this is what I saw, what he saw. Now, I was going zoom, 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 zoom in my power chair. And I had gone on the sidewalk, and I tried to get to the health food store. And I couldn't get to the health food store because I could see through the parking lot, the very short parking lot, that there was no ramp. So I went zoom, zoom, zoom through the parking lot, and I went up Mr. Kero's ramp, or the ramp in front of Above and Beyond Auto Care. So I'm sitting here like this, and I tried to get by, and there was only about this much room between these big tires and the edge of the sidewalk. And the edge of the sidewalk, there was a truck. So, I saw on the door of Above and Beyond Auto Care, I saw on the door there was a sign. Now the sign said, one customer at a time. Now I saw on the door of Above and Beyond Auto Care, it said, one customer at a time. And I could see through the window that there was a customer already in there. So, and I saw that it was a Ring doorbell, so I knew that he could see me. So I could see that he could see me. And I knew he could see me through the Ring doorbell. But he wasn't moving. The person who was there taking care of the shop, I don't know if he's the owner or the manager or whatever, but apparently it's Rick Caro because that's who identified himself on the YouTube video. Now, that person could see me and was not moving. Did not care that I was at the door, did not care to engage either, and was not talking through the device either. And it's a Ring doorbell. You can do that. But he didn't. So at that point in time, I didn't realize that he could actually hear me or that the device worked because he wasn't moving. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you're not moving, maybe you didn't hear me. So I did it again a couple times. Please, would somebody move? I just need to get by. I just need to get to the health food store. Finally, the customer in the shop, hi baby, the customer in the shop gets up and opens the door in the auto care shop and lets me in. So I wheel in and I wheel up to the guy's counter and I say, hey, can you move these tires out here? They're in the way. Or something to that effect. And Mr. Caro keeps saying, you're very rude, you're very rude. So that part started in the shop where he started calling me rude. And at that point in time, I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't actually know why he was calling me rude until I read the comment that he left on the video on YouTube. Apparently, I was rude for repeatedly pressing the doorbell. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that perhaps I wouldn't have been so rude if he'd actually moved his behind and showed me that he heard the doorbell. Go out on a limb there. Come with me there. Long limb. Not really long. So, now, I am going to address some of the questions, some of the comments. Number one, I am not a second-class citizen that needs to call authorities and wait for somebody in authority to come and tell him to move his tires. I am perfectly capable of doing that myself. Number two, I am not a Karen. Apologies to anybody named Karen. I am not a person who is going to call the authorities or call law enforcement over nothing. And at that point in time, I thought this was nothing. Now, when he came out of the shop, and I followed him in the power chair, and he started making threats to me that he was going to destroy the ramp while I was in the other store. I cannot remember which of us threatened to call the cops, because after that threat, my anxiety went through the roof. I already had PTSD. I live with a condition called complex PTSD. So it's not a fun situation when I start feeling the fight or flight or freeze. And at that point in time, I was freezing because he was threatening to destroy the ramp while I was in the other store. And when he said hammer, my mind immediately thought that he was referring to a jackhammer, because he's an auto shop. As far as I knew, he had a reason to have a jackhammer. He could be out there with a jackhammer when I got out of the shop, and what kind of recourse would I have that he threatened that he was going to do that? So instead of calling the cops at that point in time, I got out my phone and I pushed record. And I verified, you can hear in the video, me verifying that we are in the middle of Olympia, Washington. And I panned up to show the name of the shop because I wanted to have it all recorded in case something happened. And when I panned up to the name of the shop and saw that it was Above and Beyond, I could not help myself. And you hear it. I couldn't help myself. Thank you for going above and beyond and moving those tires. Yeah. Well, what can I say? So, when the entire situation could have been stopped, could have not escalated to that point if, number one, if he had answered the door, then I wouldn't have been so annoying or so rude. So, number one, answer the door. If number two, move the tires. Make sure that the access to the rest of the sidewalk is not blocked. That, it makes it a lot easier. So, the curb, now, that entire little mom and pop strip mall is ridiculous for accessibility. The curb is yay high, and there are I don't actually believe that there are any accessible spots. I believe it's the owner of the shop that actually parks a truck on either side of the ramp. There are usually two trucks parked on either side of the ramp, and there's no sign. And I don't believe there's any painting that actually says that that's an accessible spot. But it's the only ramp. It's the only way to get up and down. And I believe that that's a ramp there because it's used by the auto shop for loading and deliveries. And it's not actually an accessibility ramp. So, a lot of different stuff here. A lot of unpacking. But when it all comes down to it, if he'd have been a little bit less rude, then he wouldn't have perceived me as being rude. I didn't want to be rude. Anyway, so now that you're here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I am writing a book called The Car That Ran on Prayers, and I'm about a fourth of the way into that book. I have some interest in it by a couple of publishers. My literary agent, Dennis Schleicher, has been marketing this book and is very patiently waiting, not very patiently waiting, not at all, for me to finish this book. So for me to be out tootling around on my power chair and out doing videos, well, you know what? That's my hobby. My work is writing, and I'm going to get right back to my work. So you have an excellent day and a wonderful week ahead. And I hope that it's full of love and light and nobody whining and making threats to you. Love and light from Maggie Slighte. Peace out.